Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to be looking at the canvas in HTML5. The canvas is actually an element in HTML. You know, like there's an H1 tag and there's these other tags, buttons and forms, those sort of things. Those are elements in HTML. In HTML5, the canvas is actually something that we use to draw graphics on the web page. And in this video, I'm assuming that you already have some understanding of JavaScript, not a whole bunch, but some understanding of JavaScript, some understanding of how to link an external file to the documentation. And if you don't, it'll be wise to go look at some of my previous videos or look at some other videos that give you some insight into those concepts. In this one, you have to know a little bit about that to move forward, because what we want to be able to do is start drawing to the canvas using some of our HTML5 and JavaScript or jQuery knowledge to be able to make some animation on the screen like you would with a game. And the game that we're going to look at is basically like a paddle and brick game to give you some insight into programming with JavaScript and using HTML5 as the overall platform that's going to allow you to present that to the user. All right, so let's get started. So here I am in brackets. And what I did is I went ahead and right clicked on my desktop and I went to new and I created a new folder and I called that folder paddle bricks, and all I did was drag that inside of brackets. Once you do that, you'll get this empty folder over here, and I have everything that's in that folder. As you can see, there's nothing in there right now, but if I go ahead and double click on this folder and open this folder up, what you'll see is that there is nothing in there. And in brackets, if I were to create something in here, it also is created in the folder. So you can go either way with brackets. You can either go ahead and create other files inside the folder itself or create it into brackets. So I'm going to right click here in the brackets. I'm going to go to new file and I'm going to call this game.html, and I'm going to hit enter. And because I put that .html there, brackets recognize that this is an HTML document, and now I'll automatically have the IntelliSense in a way for HTML. Now the first thing I want to do is make sure I set this document up with HTML5, and the way you do that right before this HTML tag is I'm going to go ahead and put the exclamation mark and doc type and then HTML. Now after that, I want to go ahead and set my language, and I'm going to put LANG, and I'm going to put English. EN. Now I can go ahead and begin in my header. This is just boilerplate stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and type this out, and then I'm going to come back to the video. Give me 1 second. So right now I have my basic setup. So I have my HTML my HTML tag. I have my header. This is the proper header to make sure that we have all the proper settings for our HTML document. Then we have our body tag here. And then inside the body tag, I have my scripts tag, because this is where we're going to put the scripts. And right above this is where we're going to go ahead and put our canvas. So right now we don't have access to the canvas. If I were to save this and I were to run this, really nothing's really there. And even after we put the canvas there, there's still a few things we have to do in order to be able to detect the canvas. So let's go ahead and put our canvas up there. And I'm going to go and type canvas. And if you need any more information on the canvas itself, if you go to W3C School, you'll see this HTML5 here, canvas. It'll tell you all about the canvas, and it'll give you all the properties. And basically, we're going to just write this element here. And I can even just copy this part right here, take that, and put it right here. And there's my canvas. I'm just going to change this to stage canvas. And I'm just going to change this width to 800 and this height to 600. So I have my canvas, and actually if I were to run this, I'm going to go inside of my folder here and going to double click on the game. I can go ahead and run it this way. And when I do that, you'll see that I really don't have anything here. I have this game.html here as the title. I can change that, but I have nothing here so far. And the reason why it looks like I have nothing there is because the canvas doesn't have any color to it. If I were to add some color to this canvas, then it'll make more sense to you how this canvas is interacting with the web page. But for now, before we even do that, let's go ahead and add our script here that's going to give us the element of the game canvas, because in order to use this canvas inside of code, we have to get the ID of this canvas. And let's go ahead and start off with the variables that we're going to use. So I'm going to start off with, I'm going to call this variable canvas, and I'm going to call another one canvas context. Call upon the window on load. Create a function, and then I'm going to open and close this function, and inside of this function I'm going to type canvas, and that canvas will equals the going to pull from the document, and that's going to be get element by ID. And you have to make sure this is spelled properly because it's camel casing here. Camel casing meaning we have, it starts off with a smaller case and every other word is capitalized. So get is small, lowercase, element is uppercase, by is uppercase, and I is uppercase. Every other word is uppercase after the first one is lowercase. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the name of the canvas that I want in there, and the name of the canvas I want is this stage canvas right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. And then I'm going to close this one off. And then I'm going to set the context of the canvas. I want the context to be 2D. So now that we have our canvas, let me open this up so that way we can see what's going on at the same time here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this live view over here, and I'm going to put my code over here so we can see at the same time what's going on my game document over here, in my HTML document, and my code over here. So I'm going to go ahead and use that context, that canvas context to go ahead and add myself some color, some fill style to this canvas. So the way I do that is I call upon the canvas context here, and then I can use this fill style property, and I'm gonna make it to be black, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and fill it with a rectangle. Fill rect. So this fill rectangle takes 4 arguments. One is the x and the y. That's the position of this fill rectangle that we just created, and the width and the height. Now the x and the y is going to be 0, 0. And the reason for that, let me put that in here. The reason for that is because normally you would think that the 0 coordinate system is going to start somewhere down here, where x and y will start somewhere down here, and as you go to the right, and then it'll increase, and when you go up, it'll increase. But when it comes to computer programming, it's opposite. It's actually reversed order. So really, it's the opposite of what the normal Cartesian coordinate system defines x and y as. On the computer screen, the x is always going to start at the top left. So x and y starts at the top left, and as you go to the right, it does go to positive, and as you go down, it goes positive. So it's like a switch. So 0, 0 is actually up here, and so that's why I put 0, 0 here. And then when I move ahead, I'm going to want the width and the height of this rectangle to be a certain width and height. So let's say if I did something like the same as this one over here, so I'm going to put 800 here, and then I'm going to put the height of that, which is 600 here, and then I can go ahead and close that off. Close that off and save this, and I'm going to refresh this page over here. And there it is right there. Now, the thing is, what if my canvas changes size? So let's say if I were to say the height of this is 800, and then I were to save this, And now, as I click here, I'm going to refresh this. You can see right now my rectangle hasn't changed. Oh, well, because I would have to change it over here every time I change my canvas size. So I have to go back here, and now the rectangle changes. But instead of doing this, we really don't want to use what's called magic numbers inside of something that may change or that could be different at any point in time. Because maybe there's a game where the canvas size does change, or maybe you want the canvas size to change with some other attributes of the web page or the document itself. So what we do in that case is we call upon the canvas. We're going to call the canvas variable that we created. And we're going to just put the height or the width of the canvas here. And over here, we're going to put the height of the canvas. So we're going to call the canvas again. And then we're going to put the height. There we have the height. Now, whenever I refresh this, whatever the height and the width of the canvas is, this will be. So we don't have to go inside of the code and redo every time we have an instance of this rectangle or we're changing something. Basically, I can just come here and change the size of that canvas and refresh. And then what you'll see is now also the context changes. So I could go through the trouble of drawing a circle here, but I really want you guys to see how we can go ahead and add an image to this document right away. So that way you can make this your own. You can actually add an image that actually suits your idea, even though we're pretty much doing the same thing. It'll give you a better understanding of how you can add more of your own personal images or some images that you find just to get the idea across. So I went and searched online and I found this image of a ball. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag that image or save that image. After I save that image inside of my folder, not on my desktop. I save that image inside of my folder, and here's the image itself. So now all I need to do is go back here, and I'm going to create an image object inside of my code. Equals document dot get element by ID. And I'm going to so now that I have that set, I can now go to my document and put that inside of the document itself, the ball inside the document. And the way I'm going to do that is use an image tag. And remember, the ID we gave it was the ball. And now I'm going to give it a source. And that source is going to be image 100. And the width to 100. And now, as you can see over here, we have this ball sitting here. We want to get it on the canvas, however. So I'm going to go back over here to my canvas context. And I'm going to draw an image. And the image I want to draw is this one right here. Now, perhaps this is not the best way to do this. Basically, what I should have done was something like this. Let me show you. So basically, I got to get rid of that. Put that variable there, go down here, and now the only thing I need within this context here is I need the location. So I'm just going to put that this will be at 0, 0. We talked about that already. Go ahead and save that. Now let me refresh this page. And as you can see, the ball does pop up at 0, 0. It's huge. So I'm going to go ahead and shrink that down to something like 25. 25. And if you see what I'm doing, I'm doing it here first. And I can see the size of this ball change. But also inside of this draw image, if I go here and I put in the other parameters like the size. So let's say if I said something like 50, something like that. Now all I need to do is refresh this. And you'll see the ball actually becomes that size. And so that's how we can go ahead and add the image using the canvas context to draw an image here. But you know, this image doesn't look too good and it's pretty sloppy. I think it's probably better for us to go ahead and use the canvas and use its drawing tools. So go ahead and draw a primitive circle here. And in a way, I'm saying a circle, but actually it's more of an arc. And then we kind of make two arcs to make it look like a circle. But for right now, we got ourselves started pretty well off. And I think we can stop this video and move on to the next one. And in the next one, we're going to go ahead and create a ball. And we're going to make that ball move. I'll see you guys next time.